George Bernard Shaw, the English playwright, advised, "Do not try to live forever. You will not succeed." And he added, "Use your health, that's what it's for. Spend all of it before you die, and don't outlive yourself." The World Health Organization defines health as complete physical, mental and social well-being, not just the absence of disease. But that's not a very helpful definition because it excludes so many people. Some people from birth by disability or poverty, others because of premature accidents and illness in early life. And of course, most of us eventually succumb to increasing numbers of conditions as we get older, what's called multi-morbidity. And we can't be excluded from a definition of health. As Robert Louis Stevenson, the Scottish author, said, the challenge is to live well. And he said, someone to love, something to do, something to hope for, adding, it's better to travel hopefully than to arrive, and the true success is to labour. John Bunyan described life as a journey. It happens to us as it happens to wayfaring men. Sometimes our way is clean, sometimes foul, sometimes uphill, sometimes downhill. We are seldom at a certainty. The wind's not always at our backs, nor is everyone a friend whom we meet along the way. The American therapist Virginia Sitar advised, life isn't how it's supposed to be, it's how you cope with it that makes the difference. The English poet Robert Graves, and also a soldier in the First World War, survived 4 years in the trenches, not far from here in Brussels. And in his memoir, Goodbye to All That, he described how by the end of the war, the soldiers had nothing but contempt for preachers and chaplains in religious services for fallen comrades, trying to put a gloss on futility. The soldiers' daily experience of blind chance and cruel fate left no space for higher purpose. And by the end of the war, the only thing they believed in was loyalty to colleagues. A brutal demonstration of an essential part of being human, connectedness to others. In this art exhibition, there's a video by Edith de Kint of a plastic bag being blown about in the wind. She made it 2 years before a similar feature occurred in Sam Mendes' US film American Beauty, and 20 years before Katy Perry sang, "Do you ever feel like a plastic bag drifting through the wind, wanting to start again? Do you ever feel so paper thin like a house of cards, one blow from caving in?" It's an image that captures the vulnerability, uncertainty and vagary of human life. However much we plan and take precautions, life's a risk. No one knows what the future will hold. We protect ourselves by sharing the risk. Unless we're very rich, and perhaps not even then, the best protection for your family and for mine is that all families are protected, providing not only access to care, but also the delivery of care that's needed, and bearing in mind that those most in need may be the least able to pay. Aneurin Bevan, the Minister of Health in the UK, at the beginning of the National Health Service, wrote a book called In Place of Fear, referring not only to the fear of illness, but also fear of the financial consequences, saying, illness is neither an indulgence for which people have to pay, nor an offence for which they should be penalised, but a misfortune, the cost of which should be shared by the community. Of the many functions of society, healthcare perhaps provides the clearest expression of societal values. Oliver Wendell Holmes, US Chief Justice, taxes are the price we pay for a civilized society. Healthcare didn't used to matter much. Voltaire said the role of doctors was to amuse the patient while nature cured the disease. But healthcare matters now. We have a large number of treatments of proven effectiveness in improving the outcome of conditions, and unconditional personalised continuity of care is the key to managing multi-morbidity. In this art exhibition, Sasha Pirogova's photograph shows a wooden cabinet made up of dozens of small drawers. I see it as a metaphor for reductionism, that is, the attempt to understand the world by breaking it down into small parts. In front of the cabinet is a struggling man, refusing to be categorized in this way. He is more than the sum of parts. He is a person with a voice. Sir William Osler, Professor of Medicine at Oxford, used to teach medical students, listen to the patient, he's telling you the diagnosis. In modern day, Jan de Messner, Professor of Family Medicine at Ghent, teaches students, listen to the patient, she is telling you her treatment goals. Healthcare not only helps individuals by mass delivery, it improves the health of the public. The elephant in the room is that if it does so inequitably, if resources aren't matched to need, healthcare will widen inequality as the poor get left behind. It's not the only determinant of health, but increasingly, especially in aging societies, it's an important one. Most health systems provide universal access to emergency care, but increasingly the challenge is to prevent or postpone emergencies, helping people to live long and well in the community. The context is community, not hospitals or specialists. Healthcare has to be at its best where it's needed most, otherwise inequalities in health will widen. In a democracy, that's a challenge not only of solidarity but also generosity. Yet Julian Tudor Hart's inverse care law is everywhere. The availability of good medical care tends to vary inversely with the need for it in the population served. The British NHS is no exception. I'm sure the Belgian health service isn't either. In addressing inequity, most countries pass the theory, but fail the practical. And even if the prescription is correct, the dose is usually too small. William Blake: he who would do good to another must do it in minute particulars. General good is the plea of the scoundrel, the hypocrite and the flatterer. For art and science can't exist but in minutely organised particulars. Margaret Mead, the US anthropologist: what people say, what people do, and what they say they do are three entirely different things. That's nowhere more so than in how we address inequalities in health and healthcare. It's a challenge for all societies and democracies as they deal less and less with premature illness and more with longevity, who has it, how it can be shared and enjoyed.